What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Sox Talk on Tap. It's been a minute since we had one of these videos. It's been me and Jake kind of going over some All-Star stuff this week because, Home Run Derby, All-Star Game, all that, exciting Midsummer Classic stuff. American League won what I thought was a pretty good All-Star game. It was relatively fast. There was only 3 innings or 2 innings technically, where teams scored. That third inning where they both went 3-3, and then Jarren Duran's 2-run home run. And then other than that, it was just, pitching matchups. So it was a nice, quick All-Star game to watch. It was pretty fun. Home Run Derby it was cool. Nothing, no crazy like 80 homer derbies like we saw with Julio Rodriguez a few years ago with the new rule changes. But overall, fun weekend. We finally get back to baseball now, though. And looking at some of the games today, Red Sox, they get a challenge right out of the gate. They got to go to LA, play the Dodgers for a 3-game series. It's going to be fun to watch. You got to be the best. You got to beat the best, and they're certainly going to be tested coming out of the break. So I'm a little nervous for this series just because that Dodgers lineup should scare anybody and their mothers. No matter who's on the mound as a pitcher, this isn't the divisional round where the Diamondbacks. This is a regular season game, so the Dodgers are actually scary. And I believe the Twins don't play till tomorrow. Jake mentioned, but they also, I believe, have a tough series against the Brewers. Yep. So Jake and I's teams are going to get tested right out of the gates. It's going to be, a race to the finish for these last wild card spots. As of right now, the Twins and Sox are both in it. So hopefully it stays that way for both of us. I know Jake and I made some predictions on who we think's going to fall off and jump, et cetera, et cetera. I do still think the Cardinals are going to fall off, barring any insane trade. I just don't think playing negative run differential baseball can, win in the long run. And I do think the Reds are going to be a team that jumps them. I think a dark horse team, the more I think about it, could be the Pirates. With how Paul Skeens is pitching, where every outing, he's, slowly creeping into that Cy Young race, which is crazy to think about because he's pitched 11 games. But I'm hearing all sorts of reporters talk about how Paul Skeens is putting his name in the NL Cy Young race because it's not really a runaway. I know Chris Sale's been pitching great. Ranger Suarez, really, it's been Braves pitchers versus Phillies pitchers in the Cy Young race. But Paul Skeens, if he keeps doing what he's doing, where every other outing he's taking a no-hitter into the 7th inning and he has 7, 8, 9 strikeouts, how can you not put him in that Cy Young category? So that's going to be fun to watch. The Pirates are kind of a fun team to watch now just because of him. So big shout out to them. Orioles. The Orioles and the Yankees, they've done the Red Sox a favor, to say the least. The Red Sox have, I think since I believe the date was June 14th. It was really since the Philly series. I believe since then the Red Sox have the best record in baseball, but they've also largely been helped by these two teams, who the Orioles have kind of been playing 500, and the Yankees, I think, have the worst record in baseball since that time. So they're, helping them out. The Red Sox are only 4.5 games out in the division, I think. Yeah. Because, the Yankees and Orioles are neck and neck. So I know some bold predictions have come out that the Red Sox may jump the Yankees going into the playoffs. I'm not going to make any bold predictions because, obviously anything can happen. I'm praying that the Red Sox make some sort of move to help this team and not hurt it because they deserve it. They really, truly deserve the help. They've earned it. Jarren Duran, who I didn't even touch on, one All-Star Game MVP. I know Jake and I touched on it. So, but this Red Sox team deserves the help from the front office. And I know all offseason, going into the season, the front office pretty much just labeled this team as a team not worth investing in because they didn't think they could win a championship. And I think they're kind of proving that theory wrong. I know, obviously, you don't know. I think baseball and hockey, I think, are the two teams hardest to predict a champion. I think because literally anything can happen in the playoffs in baseball. And we've seen it so many times. We saw it last year where 2 wildcard teams went to the World Series. So anything can happen in baseball. It's all about who gets hot. But a huge part in getting hot is getting hot at the deadline, which can mean picking up a guy. We've seen it so many times where a team picks up a guy and he's a key factor in that team's playoff run. It's happened with the Red Sox. It's happened with probably every single World Series team. Even last year, I'm pretty sure Jordan Montgomery was dealt to the Rangers at the deadline, and he was, one of their two top pitchers in the playoffs. So overall, I am excited for these games. Real baseball is finally back. It's not just, gimmicky all-star game stuff. As much as I love the all-star game, I do think it's the best all-star game in sports because the Pro Bowl has been obviously turned into a joke. The NBA all-star game is cool sometimes, but it was really the last good one was, a few years ago when they changed the rules and both teams, it really meant something to those two teams. But after that, it's been kind of meh. And then NHL is the same thing. But without going on a tangent, I'll kind of just get into these final few games, kind of wrap this up, be a little quick episode of just preview of the second half of the season, really. So we've got the Battle of California. This is a great series right here. Angels versus Athletics. Athletics news reports coming out. They're not going to deal Mason Miller unless I've seen reports that it would have to be a Herschel Walker type package to get Mason Miller, which is kind of nuts for a closer, but that's how good he's been. He's been, in my opinion, the best closer in baseball, if not a top 2 closer in baseball. So I'm glad for the Athletics that they're doing that they're finally holding on to a good young piece and seeing what he can be. Astros Mariners. By the end of this weekend, we might see the Astros leading the division, and I won't be surprised at all if that's the case because with the Astros, how they've been playing baseball, and the Mariners, how they've been playing baseball, where they're kind of really cooled off and obviously let the Astros back into this race, and they don't have a bat in that lineup that's a real threat right now. I think this division could flip on a dime. I still am standing my prediction I made, probably a month or so ago about how I think Vladdy Guerrero is going to get dealt there in some crazy trade where Mariners send off some prospects. They obviously have the pitching to, be able to afford to lose maybe one of their 5 pitchers really that they have in the majors to get a guy like Vladdy. So I still stand by that. I think that will be a crazy deal if it happens, and I kind of want to see it because it'd be fun. And Vladdy's having a great year, so his stock just keeps rising. But overall, exciting. Just excited baseball is back, really, if we're being honest. There's not any insane matchups. People might argue that matchup of the weekend could be Red Sox-Dodgers, just because, two high, market teams or whatever you want to call it. Red Sox may not be the top market this year, but Red Sox-Dodgers is always going to draw eyes. Yankees are going to draw eyes. Their nemesis, the Rays. We'll see if they can get by them. They got Garrett Cole going tonight, so I kind of trust him. He's kind of slowly getting back to his original self. And then the Orioles and Rangers, this is a big series for both teams to get. Orioles need to get hot, and the Rangers need to get back in the race. So with that being said, just going to be a quick little, like I said, second half preview. We'll come back to you with any news that happens over the weekend because we may very well see some trades that were talked about over the All-Star break. Come back to you with some players of the weekend. Hopefully we see some Red Sox players, some Twins players up there for Jake's sake against the Brewers. But going to be a tough series. Going to be exciting to watch, though. Finally, baseball's back. It's really the only sport we've got going for us right now aside from the U.S. Olympic basketball team. That's really what the only other sport I'll be kind of tuning into. But it's going to mainly be baseball. So with that being said, everybody, hope you have a great weekend. We'll catch you Monday. Peace out.